The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. A New Frontier continues with Chris playing Uriel the Immolator, Kelly playing Trillium the Druid, Kurt playing Bretton the Ranger, and Bridget playing Lenore the Cleric. Joe sits in the GM chair to coordinate the campaign. Enjoy the podcast. Hi, and welcome to The Shed for Adventures from the Shed. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Find us on iTunes. If you like us, give us a great rating on iTunes so other people can find us. It makes it easy for them. Of course, you can do a Google search for us. Google, Yoohoo, Bing, whatever you like. And
you took my line.
Nice little inside joke. Do a search for Adventures from the Shed, and you will find us. You can also email us, adventuresfromtheshed@gmail.com. We love getting your emails, and we love your comments on Facebook. You can find us there as well. We are back in the shed, continuing our fresh new Dungeon World campaign set in the world of Parandisi. We're going to go around the table and say hi and introduce our characters. We'll start right here with...
This is Chris. I'm playing Uriel the Immolator, who's currently working as a journeyman smith in Prometheus Forge in the town of Valchand.
Nice. Incorporated a lot of information.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
And then...
my name is Kelly. I'm playing Trillium. She is a human druid that lives in the forest outside of Valchand. And let's see, Trillium, I forgot to mention earlier, she has feathers. That's her tail.
You did mention it.
Oh, I did?
It's cool to mention it again.
All
because
right.
That's something that comes up as we begin this session, too.
Okay.
Because you'll have a tail even as a salamander.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It sticks with you in all of your forms.
Yeah, that's right.
I forgot about that.
That'll make it interesting.
Aha.
Who's
Okay.
next?
All right, hey everyone, this is Kurt. I am playing Bretton the Ranger. He's a human ranger who is hanging out in Valchand. He actually loves people, loves civilization, but also works to protect them from the wilds outside. And turns out he's pretty good friends with Trillium. They like to smoke the halfling leaf from time to time.
Nice.
And I'm Bridget, playing Lenore the Cleric, who is a follower of Zorika and is a lawful human.
Cool. I am Joe. I'm the game master as we continue this campaign. Now, Bridget just mentioned that alignment of lawful. Let's take a minute, go around the table, tell us what that is after I describe to you what it means in Dungeon World terms. In Dungeon World terms, on your sheet, you have an alignment. The alignment you choose is really a driving force for your character. It isn't something you have to do in a global sense. It is a thing that applies really to that sentence or pair of sentences that's there. For example, in Dungeons and Dragons and other systems, we think of lawful as somebody who always upholds the law. That's what they are. That's not what it means in this game. What it means specifically is the line that goes along with the word lawful on the sheet. The reason that's important is at the end of a gaming session, which we'll do at the end of a recording day, if you fulfill that alignment, or if you feel your character has, and everyone says, yeah, that did happen, we agree with that, you get an experience point. So that's useful. So it's something that helps to drive your character. So let's go in counterclockwise here. We'll go right back to Bridget. What does lawful mean for Lenore?
For Lenore, it means endanger yourself following the precepts of your church or god. And basically,
okay.
Now I've found out that I'm trying to find a stolen item from our order. Not a cult. Definitely not a cult. It's a cult. But it's a cult. An item that was stolen from our order, and I'm kind of on a little quest to do that, and to...
so you're eager to get this
I'm
back.
eager to get this
you
back.
Will put yourself in the line of danger. To do
Right,
so.
right.
Okay.
That could also mean, because she's, the healing? So that could even mean, I'll danger myself to help somebody, heal someone, but I might take that hit.
Right.
Cool.
Awesome.
What does Bretton have, Kurt?
So I selected good as my alignment, and for me that means that I will endanger myself to combat an unnatural threat.
Okay, that's cool.
Pretty straightforward.
Like a cult?
Maybe.
We're not a cult. We're an order.
It's not
What does
a
Kelly have for Trillium?
All right. So Trillium is neutral. Eliminate an unnatural menace. which
Similar.
I'm assuming would be the
Yeah.
whoever is stealing these items and putting them in my woods.
But unlike Bretton, you don't have to endanger yourself to do it.
I do not.
You can throw a rock from a distance.
From
do
a
not, yeah.
distance.
Disclaimer, I am not part of a cult.
Neither am I. We have something in
I
common.
know what you're talking about.
Excuse me. Cool. And Chris.
I'm also neutral, and mine is exchange a sacrifice freely given for a service rendered.
So how are you interpreting that?
Yeah, that was a weird one because was it my sacrifice or somebody else's sacrificing? Somebody else freely sacrificed something for maybe a service. So maybe I provided some type of service to one of you, and you sacrificed something. I don't know.
So you'll
Could be
make
inter-
someone a horseshoe if they kill a squirrel.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be
Wait,
cool.
can you read it one more time?
Exchange a sacrifice freely given for a service rendered. It could be the other way where I
Yeah, I was gonna say,
sacrifice
you
and
could make-
somebody. Yeah, it could go either way.
See, I've never
I
played
go
with
both
the
ways.
Immolator, so I don't even know what your powers and things are yet. I'd be curious to see how this plays out.
Well, some of it does involve sacrifice.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the character itself is based on fire and sacrifice.
That
pretty
might
much.
actually give us a bond, because you would be a good and faithful person if, in my ideals,
Well, part
if
of the
you were
bond
doing
I
that.
kind of like put down earlier was I will teach Lenore the true meaning of sacrifice.
The
Yeah, see, so
meaning.
So yeah,
We'll see what that
see where they
boils
are.
down
See
to.
how they
I don't
are.
know if I trust you, Uriel.
So we're going to go to Kurt for a recap that should give us a little view into how we started our adventure. Go ahead, Kurt.
Sure. So Chris touched on a couple of the key facts. We started in the small town of Valchand. There's a few hundred people in town, but maybe 1,000 in the surrounding area. It's a kind of a trading village, and a lot of people pass through on their way to and from other places. Several of us know each other, often meeting at Uriel's Forge. So he provides services that have been of use to several of us. And we began our adventure, or nearly began, in the Spastic Piglet, a tavern known that we affectionately call the Pig, where we were hanging out discussing the fact that a number of small thefts have been occurring over the last week or two in town. 6 or 7 personal residences and shops have been hit, and gold, silver, and gems have been disappearing, always during the nighttime and never really with any breaking or entering, but just through people having left their doors or windows open or having been careless.
And let me make a note on that. You phrased it as small thefts, and I should have said that too. It is small. Now, an individual thing is valuable to an individual person, but nothing big, nothing huge has been stolen. Think of it as trinkets, small things, but that's a good point. Really small thefts.
Right. And Trillium mentioned that she had actually found a number of trinkets and valuables in a kind of hidden special cave that is known to her and actually also known to Bretton, and that's obviously unusual that these things would be there, and she doesn't know why they're there. So Uriel, Bretton, and Trillium had decided to head out and check out the cave. Lenore, the cleric, kind of tried to follow from a distance, but was easily spotted by the very talented tracker, Bretton, who circled around and basically brought her in with the party to explore the cave. After learning that she is looking for I think she said a sacred symbol of her not occult order. And
Definitely
I
not
think
a cult.
she's hoping that might perhaps be in the cave. And I believe that as we ended our session, Trillium was about to try to turn into a salamander so she could sneak inside and scout out the cave.
Let's see what happens.
All right.
What I'm curious, and this is something you'll hear me say a lot, or ask a lot as we play this game, what does it look like?
The salamander?
No
What
one
does
can
it look
change.
like when you do it? Do you
Oh.
have to say anything? Do you make some weird motions?
Do you morph? Is it a cloud
Yeah.
of puff and you're automatically the animal?
Like, I'll give you a couple examples that I've heard used or used myself in the past. A druid that turns into something flying, gets a running start, and just flies up in the air and turns into a bird. A druid turning into something smaller than themselves, like do a somersault and then you roll into the animal. Yeah, different things. Think of how it looks, because 3 other people are about to see what happens.
Okay. Well, just pretty much what you just said. That was like the first thing that popped into my
Yeah.
mind. It's kind of like I would, I guess, kind of barrel roll into
Yeah.
a salamander, like if it was something that small.
Okay. How big would the salamander be? I'm curious.
Fit in your hand.
Palm-sized?
Fit in
Okay.
fit in your hand. It's a small
Easily
That's a pretty
stepped on.
substantial change then. All All right, let's see what happens.
All right,
So,
so
there's a thing on your sheet. Go ahead and read it out.
where at? Oh, okay. When you call upon the spirits to change your shape, roll plus wisdom on a 10 plus hold 3.
What that means is when we get to things called holds, you have 3 this is why I'm a salamander things. So one of them is going to be you want to get past the boulders. You want to be small enough to get in through, right? That's part of the reason for going in. So that would use one of the holds. Now, what else is special about a salamander? We have to come to those terms. What makes it special that you picked a salamander? Do they see better in the dark? Maybe I don't know.
They can handle the heat.
If somebody steps on your tail, it'll grow back.
Yeah, regeneration.
So we think about those things, and that's what the hold means, because just being a salamander doesn't require any actual ability. What is it as a salamander, while you're a salamander, what is it that makes that thing special?
Right, and the better you roll, the more holds you get.
Yeah.
So that's why the roll matters. It's not that you need to roll to become a salamander. It's that you need to roll to see how much awesome salamander stuff you can do.
Right.
Which sounds silly when we're saying salamander, but imagine if you were a bear or an eagle or
something,
a wolf.
right.
Like having 3 holds means I get to kick ass 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can definitely make
So for
a big
this,
difference.
the minute, the smallness.
It's the
is what
size,
matters.
right?
Yeah.
It's the size that matters.
In this
one.
case, yeah. And it needs to be small.
The only time, that's okay.
In order to get in there, it needs to be small.
It's a tight spot.
It is. It is dark and dank inside.
Roll it
I'm
up,
sure.
and you got what, plus?
Plus 2
All right.
for wisdom.
Let's see what happens.
Oh, nice roll.
So make sure you say the numbers, because we're an
So
audio podcast.
that would be 9 plus 2,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, all
Which
right.
is 11.
11.
Yeah.
So it's
Which is
full
10 plus.
success.
So that means I would get 3
Yeah.
holds.
Good to go.
So one way to keep track of this is something I do, and I've seen other people do it. Just draw 3 circles or something somewhere, and as you use one, cross it off.
Okay.
All right, and a notepad, however you want to handle it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you got 3. Actually, Bridget had a point here. We have the poker chips on the table that we use to keep track of things. You could even use
Counters
that.
for different things.
But the first thing you want to do as a salamander is you want to get yourself past these boulders that have been moved in the way of the door, right?
Yes.
So let's use 1 to do that, because that's specifically a salamander thing, being small and sneaking in there. So let's use 1 of the 3 holds now.
Bye-bye hold. So now you have 2 holds
Do I have to
left.
roll for that?
Nope.
Nope.
You've already
No, you already
recovered.
rolled to become a 3-hold salamander, as it were.
All right. Okay. All right.
And see, if you had rolled lower, you might have only had 2 holds or 1 hold.
Okay. So,
You don't want to be a 1-hold salamander.
3-hold
No.
salamander.
all right. So the first hold, I get in.
You get in now, so this is where, as a group collectively, or even just as yourself, we need to figure out what is it special about a salamander when you're in the dark. Can the salamander see in the dark? I don't know. They go in dark places. They got to see better in the dark, right?
I would imagine.
They like dark.
So as you get in there, the first thing you notice as you're crawling through the opening between the boulders, it's particularly windy. There's a lot of breeze that comes through. And it's almost like a whistling noise as you go through. So there's definitely an opening somewhere else in this cave. There's air that flows through. And you smell a smell that wasn't there the last time you were at this cave, however long ago it was. But it definitely smells like something has been leaving waste. Not just like, they're not just crapping in the cave, but like old food and stuff in here as well. So somebody was using this as a place to hang out and just left their stuff behind. They didn't clean up. But a little further in, you do start to see the stuff from the town. There are the cages from the lampposts. There are several other doodads laying around, a lot of jewelry hanging out in one corner. There are a couple of crudely made wooden crates that somebody has just stuffed things into that they have stolen. And it looks like there's probably, I don't know, call it thousands of gold pieces worth of stuff here, but one individual thing looks particularly impressive.
Okay.
Just a lot of little things stolen.
Okay.
That's what you see in there at this time.
All right. I am going to reek when I come out of there.
You might.
Because,
Nobody likes a stinky salamander.
well, the particular salamander that I
That would be a
am.
good tavern name, the Stinky
It's a good-
Salamander.
I'll put that in the city.
Good one,
Inn.
yeah.
What?
We haven't named the inn yet, have we? Oh, yeah, we did.
The inn didn't get named. The tavern is the pig.
Yeah, but I thought we named the inn.
I didn't write it down.
It's a stinky salamander now.
Yeah.
Although stinky, probably not a good idea.
I'll write that down as a place that'll be in the city we go to. The stinky salamander.
Okay,
a
so
Oh.
Hot and sweaty.
Pardon me.
okay, so
So-
I see all these.
It looks
Items.
Like, it looks like this is the stuff the town is missing.
But nothing stands out.
But nothing stands out. Okay.
Not really, no.
You don't see
am-
anything that looks like it belongs to a cult.
Yeah.
Or not a cult.
Snakes.
Actually-
sound like this.
Anything in there looks like it could belong to a not a cult.
So these
an
are all not
order.
occult items, but
Yeah, all of them are made to order.
So I am walking around,
Yeah.
crawling around,
Well, yeah.
looking at these little items.
Oh, you can climb up walls and
Yeah.
stuff.
I
too.
can
so-
climb up
yeah.
walls, yeah.
If you
So
wanted to, of course.
I'm climbing around. I'm looking
Yeah.
around. I'm not seeing anything really special. Just things that everybody knows are missing.
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
Okay.
And like I said, trash, like banana peels and stuff just around. And don't read into the word banana peels. I just said it because I know when they sit long enough, they smell bad.
Okay.
That there's just stuff that leftover food items that people never cleaned up after themselves.
Okay. Considering that I breathe through my skin, I'm ready to get out of there.
That's an interesting thought. Yes, you're absorbing the smell of rotting food.
Yes.
Yes.
I was not expecting that.
Probably not.
And it's messing with my sensitive membranes.
So when you
So
come back
there's something
out,
awful in there though that I'm not loving. That's
it's
affecting
nasty.
my
When you come back out, what does it look like when you turn back into a human? If you do that,
Gosh, from such a small thing to a big one.
yeah, I've heard that before.
Bridget.
He's mine. He's all mine. All the time.
and your clothes meld into everything you're carrying meld into your form of
Yes.
salamanders. When it comes out, your clothes start appearing and all that.
And does a salamander have like a single feather off of its neck or something? What is it?
Or little small ones hanging off.
So
Or
yeah,
the tail
there's
maybe.
there are a few feathers, very tiny feathers on its head. That would be my tail, right?
Yeah.
And so, am I still clothed?
No, it forms. Like you look like
Yeah.
a salamander, but all your clothes. Are,
Everything it like melts.
Like it doesn't. Like you don't like shrink down. Your clothes are laying there. Everything gets formed into your whatever
Yeah.
you're turning into. So when
So
you come
I'm a
out,
clothed salamander.
no, you're a salamander, but your clothes didn't just disappear.
Right.
Okay.
They
I
meld
gotcha.
into the form.
All right.
So when you come out, though, it's going to be
Form of
reversed. Like clothes might start
salamander.
appearing on your body when you start getting bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of like a just
Yeah, we're a family podcast, so you don't come out naked.
right, but
Whose family?
I was gonna say
That was the joke right there.
Yeah, exactly. Whose family though? Because if you tell me whose family, that's an interesting family. They've been on Jerry Springer more than once.
okay. So when I transform from the salamander back to my human form, I begin to grow as like a salamander, and then slowly transform. I grow fingers and arms, and
So it's like a morphing.
right, yeah.
Neat.
And I'm going to be very interested in, does that hurt? Does that hurt when you do
It
that?
does not hurt.
Wow.
Damn.
That's,
And as she does this, cloud
No
comes
suffering.
running over and is like sniffing her like crazy, trying to figure out what just happened.
That would make sense. You don't smell like a what?
But
That'd probably be
I can
interesting.
talk to Cloud, so he knows.
Yeah.
Like, Cloud, it's all good.
Now, here's another curiosity. As a druid, when you talk to animals, do you talk in their tongue or yours? And they understand you?
Oh, well, I figured it was telepathically.
Now it's talking.
Oh, I have to talk.
Well, it says you can talk with animals.
Yeah, you understand.
Yeah. You understand when the wolf barks at you, you understand what it means. Mm-hmm. When you talk to it, how do you talk? Is it in a series of growls and barks, or is it in your tongue and they can just understand you?
It's growls and grunts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, that means he's going to make you do that.
Please don't make me
No,
do
I
that.
won't make you do it, but it's important to know that when you're telling the wolf something, you could tell him that without the ranger knowing what you're saying. So you could tell his wolf stuff, and
Until
the ranger
level
wouldn't
2, when I
understand it.
take
speak
man's best
with it.
friend or whatever
Yeah.
lets me speak with animals.
But that would be an interesting thing.
Wild
But
empathy.
I like the
practice
idea
on
because
my,
then, like, if you're talking to a squirrel, you make a series of chittering noises or something, right? Rather than "Hey, squirrel, how are you?"
Right.
But it's an important role play type of thing because not everyone else will understand what you said,
Right.
but the animal will.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come back out and you describe. Do you describe to them what I said? What the area is like?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, guys, we've got a lot of items in there, things that are, we know that are missing. There's some gold, but it's a foul smell. I did not like that very much.
Like something's dead, you mean?
I'm not quite sure. Something that has ill intent. Smells like ill intent to me.
Smells like evil. Like it. Did you happen to
Does it
see
smell
any?
like teenagers?
No.
Smells like Teen
Did you happen
Spirit.
to see any daggers? It would have been an unusual, like a burnished gold dagger with a jewel in the hilt.
There may be.
pommel,
There are
whatever.
crates. There are crates and boxes. I didn't crawl in them. I just wanted to get out because the smell.
So nothing just laying out that
No.
you saw.
So what are we doing here? We kind of
That's a
wait for
good
people to
question.
show up, or then see what they do, or
You could guess because it's gotten dark now that if something's happening at night, it's going to happen sometime in the next 7-8 hours. But you might be camped out for a while if you're just going to wait. Which, of course,
I think we should
in
stick it
game time, it will go by really fast.
Yeah.
But I'm
Right.
curious what you're.
That's
what
good
you
because
want
I
to
didn't really
decide.
want to do 6 or 7 hours of
I
hanging out
figured,
here.
yeah.
No, just
Well, we'd
I
have to
think
turn
at least
the lights off.
At
'cause
least,
it's dark.
at least Bretton could kind of stake out the place.
Yeah.
It sounds like we don't want to go inside. We don't want to move the boulders and go in where it stinks. So it makes a lot more sense to wait outside and see if someone
see
shows
what
up.
or who.
or what shows up.
and how many?
Exactly.
Based on the tracks, you would guess that it's anywhere between 1 and 5. But the tracks go to and from, so it's hard to tell how many. And the tracks are all very similar.
Right.
And did we make
Mainly,
sure
you
we
didn't
did-
get a 10 plus.
And are we leaving our own tracks? Do you have a way to?
Oh yeah, you guys have definitely left your own tracks.
Yeah, if it were just me and I were really concerned about it, I could make them go away. But with 4 of us, it's a lot of work.
And the whole area is really overgrown. He had to really pay attention to follow tracks. Unless
Gotcha.
someone else is tracking, they don't know you were there or not. Realistically,
I mean, if y'all have something else you want to do, I can stay and scatter it out.
Yeah, I think we can just find a spot to hide and see what happens.
I
We
have a,
might have some time to kill, so I mean, if anyone's got some halfling leaf, that might help the time go by.
well, that you mentioned it. I do. No, I want to go back to the cave though, really quick.
Okay.
Are we? When you said is it windy in there? Is there a breeze?
so when you were crawling in, there was almost a like breeze pushing you in. So there's fresh air coming from the side you were at,
Okay.
going into the cave and probably out whatever the other exit is.
Okay. So it wasn't necessarily windy.
Well, it was for a salamander
For a second.
crawling through a little opening
Okay.
where all the air is rushing through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's not. It's not like there's another
No.
side that's filtering in
Probably
wind.
not.
Okay. All right.
It's going through. So part of the idea of describing it that way too is the air is coming into the cave, which is why you didn't smell nasty outside. All right, there's
Right.
no odor coming out of the cave. The air is actually coming in this side. It's probably going out. Wherever the other side is probably smells bad. The exhaust port probably doesn't smell
Right.
good.
All right.
But this side was still fresh forest air,
Okay.
however fresh that is. Druids live there.
Smells like halfling pipeweed.
Everywhere.
So if we're going to hang out, I would probably if this is a cave, I would kind of work my way around up
Okay.
towards the top or a little bit of an overwatch, if you will.
Oh.
And, have my bow out, just, being ready to see what comes.
So you want to scout out the whole area, or you're just going up to the top? I just want to make sure I know what you're saying.
That's a good point. I would probably scout out the area around the cave to make sure that there's no traps or anyone up there waiting for us.
Okay. So let's give it the next half hour or so. The three of you hang out maybe near the cave entrance, and Bretton will walk around and check it out. You do find there's a little hill that goes up, a hill meaning like maybe 10 feet of elevation. It's not very high. And the cave seems to just go straight forward and then down a little. When you circle around the other side, there's call it the exit of the cave, and you can smell what smells like sewage, rotting stuff, just a little bit. Then there's a slight breeze that comes through there. And then where you were talking about going up on top, that's easy enough to do because there's not much climbing. It's not a high, like I said, not a high elevation.
I just want a chance to see them before they see us.
Yes.
And,
Now, it's
obviously I'll
thick enough
camouflage.
here. Yeah,
Right.
it's thick enough here that you may not see them till they're pretty close, but you'll see them before they show up. So that's established. The other three, do you want to talk about anything between the characters, or do we just want to skip ahead?
I just turned back into my human form.
Yep.
And I'm kind of shaking it off. And I notice you. Who are you?
Who are you?
I was here.
Mostly.
We weren't introduced. I was in the cave.
No, she was here before that.
Yeah.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Oh.
We just kind of glossed over the intro.
This,
She's
short-term
not
memory, halfling
not
pipe
particularly
weed, like
observant,
happens. All right.
I'm good. I've been here.
But I do want
No
to
cause for alarm.
stare into her eyes and say, what fuels the flames of your desire?
So what is that supposed to
So
do?
basically, this is called Give Me Fuel, Give Me Fire. Metallica
Let me
right
double
there.
tap desire.
Yeah.
When you gaze intensely into someone's eyes, you may ask their player what fuels the flames of their desire. They'll answer with the truth, even if the character does not know or would otherwise keep this hidden. Not an occult person.
Now, you can phrase it however you like, as long as it's true.
Kinda
While you
like,
think about that,
what do
let
you
me-
really hear?
Let me just note that one of the things
But you are the stranger for the party.
One of the things we are going to do is we are going to do the make camp move, because you guys are going to be settling in for a little while, just waiting for something to happen. Just gives us an opportunity to roll dice and explore another mechanic. But go ahead and think about what you want to say there. Just think out loud.
I'm trying to find the true motivation of my order.
Yeah, because we know, I mean, you mentioned like there's this artifact, but what's the real nature of it and this and that and why you're here? You
Yeah,
know?
I'm trying to find the truth of behind my order.
No. So while you're thinking of that, actually, I made
Well, I
a
did
mistake.
think of it.
It's not. Oh, you got it. Go ahead, say it then.
Just said.
Oh,
I'm
that's it?
Trying
That's
to
the answer?
find the truth behind my order.
And that's what fuels what you're doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm kind of on a quest
What order is that?
type thing. The order that you don't know about. It's the Order of Zoraika.
Does that name mean anything to me, Zoraika? Do we know? Have we heard it in these parts?
That sounds like you're going to spout some lore.
Spout lore!
Dice roll.
So spout lore is when your
intelligence,
character when you think you know something, when you think your character knows something, you're going to make something up, or at least you're going to ask me to make something up. That's probably a better way to put it. And we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, we'll see if I can pull this off.
That's intelligent.
7.
Seven.
Gene will tell you something interesting if it's, I'll need to make it useful.
So I'm going to say something, and it's going to become real. So this will be part of Lenore's order, the order
Okay.
of what's the name?
Zoraika.
Zoraika. I keep going back to one that Brit had as a character name. She had
Zorsha.
and that's what I keep thinking of when I try and think of it. So Chris, Uriel knows that the order of Zoraika is focused on both seeking out and causing suffering so that they can end it through the power of healing. So sometimes they serve themselves. Other times they serve others.
Can you repeat that?
They
Seeking
both
out-
seek out and cause suffering so that they can cure it through the power of healing. Or relieve it, I guess, is probably better for suffering. They want to relieve suffering.
So they almost might do like, this might be bad, but it's going to be good for you later.
Yeah, kind of like that. You have to suffer in order to achieve true enlightenment, perhaps, something of that line. Because if you're not hurt, then healing doesn't help you. So you need to hurt somewhat.
I don't understand this concept.
only
Nature
way
gives you
to-
everything you need.
Including, thorns and stuff like that. Those hurt.
Sometimes the only way to get through hell is to walk through the fire.
This is true.
That's cool. You've done it, haven't you?
I
So-
have flashes, visions.
What we're actually going to do, I misspoke. We're not going to make camp. We're taking watch. I always mix those two up. But it's on the back of the basic move sheet. It's called Special Moves. We're going to take watch. And what we're going to do is each person that... actually, we'll do it for all four of you. Each of you will make a roll here. And it will be adding your wisdom. So what's going to happen is while you're on watch, something will be approaching the camp. You guys are specifically hanging out here for something to approach.
Yeah.
So each of you is going to roll, and then I will pick whose watch this happens on, or who notices what happens, and you guys can decide how that works. With
Ooh.
Kurt, with yours,
Uh-huh.
the way I'm going to treat it is I'm going to give you a +1 because you are specifically positioning yourself for this.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll start with yours.
I rolled a 9 plus 1 would be 10.
Okay, and let's go to you, Bridget. What did you have?
Rolled a
for-
5 plus 2, so 7.
Wow, that's not a failure. That's good. Okay,
Oh, wait, what were you adding?
Chris?
Adding to...
Wisdom.
I have a 2
Wisdom.
per.
Wisdom.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. So I would actually be 11.
Yeah.
Which is
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, because watch is plus wisdom.
Gotcha.
And Chris, what does Uriel
I
have?
have an 8.
You only have 1 for wisdom.
Yeah, but then you gave me an
Okay.
additional
So
plus
I
one.
rolled a 5
Oh.
plus
My
2,
position.
so 7.
7. Cool. So we had 2 failures that weren't failures. Well, actually 3 because you guys had pluses. That's pretty good. Good. Okay. Excuse me. So it will play out kind of like we thought it might because the ranger is extra vigilant. And so the three of you sitting around waiting are kind of talking. And not kind of, you are talking, maybe quietly, but amongst yourselves, while the ranger's up above you, probably 10 feet or so, keeping an eye out further. And Bretton, you notice in the semi-distance, meaning like maybe 50 feet away or so, because that's about as clear as you can see at this time of night, there is what looks like a group, maybe 3 or 4 of big goblins. I don't know, how familiar is Bretton with humanoid things?
He would be... I think he would be familiar generally with humanoids.
Okay.
And then if he needed to...
So these are...
Spout lore using.
We'll go straight up with, you know that by the look and their gait and their general disposition, these are definitely hobgoblins. So kind of like the bigger mutant brothers of the little goblins.
Yeah.
Stronger, faster, tougher, what have you.
I think I would know them.
And you can see every now and then a glint from moonlight passing through the trees. They're carrying shiny things with them, and they're coming in your direction. Just kind of, I don't know, an average march. They're not moving slow. They're not moving fast. And there's just a lot of grunts between them.
So it looks like hobgoblins are walking into unlocked homes and stealing shiny things.
Very well might be.
Interesting.
Rather than just bringing it back, who knows? Somebody else might be doing the steam.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Salamander.
Curious to see how they get in the cave. They've obviously got a way in and out,
So
so...
you guys have enough time that if you wanted to try and hide, you can. Of course, if you want to confront them, just stay where you are.
Yeah. I was going to say, so
Whatever
I can
you want to do.
presumably communicate down to them without...
Quick enough. You've probably got a good 5 to 10 seconds of free communication before they could hear you.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I would yell, hobgoblins, big goblins coming.
Are you going to yell? You're not
Well-
far enough away that you need to yell.
Talk.
Okay, good.
I want them to hear me.
I guess the plan is like, are we trying to attack or are we just trying to observe?
I think we want...
Well, they're walking up on us. I mean,
Yeah, but I figured I thought we were just trying to observe them. Like that would have
Yeah.
been my
I agree.
character's first thought.
I would like to observe
Me too.
first.
So we should try to hide. That's what we're trying
I mean,
to
I
do.
don't think shooting them in the face is the right right response yet.
Okay.
It may be in 5
Maybe shooting
minutes.
one in the face and
Yeah, we'll give them a minute.
scare the other ones.
Yeah, so I think we would just
So you
hide
guys
and-
just want to get off to the sides and watch what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. All right, so they approach. They set a couple of sacks of things and shiny things down on the ground, and collectively they start moving one of the big rocks out of the way. And there's a fair amount of grunting, and they smell. By the way, I'm looking at Kelly for that. They smell like the cave that you were just in, They carry that smell with them.
Okay.
Yeah,
They are
So-
sexy.
yeah, they are. They get one of the rocks out of the way, and then completely out of the way. They have to move the other one a little bit in order for them to start crawling in, because it's kind of a small opening. And one of them crawls in, and the others just start handing stuff into that guy. And then again, a lot of grunts. And towards the end of it, they handed the last thing in. The guy inside says something that you can't quite hear, but parts of the sentence make it sound like that guy will be happy. He'll be happy with tonight's haul, kind of thing, is what you get out of it. They finish up. They push the boulder back over, and they walk away.
Are they heading back to town or some other direction?
Right now, they're heading back in the direction they came, towards town, as they leave. So what do you all think?
What were those things?
I'm unfamiliar with that kind of beast.
No, I mean those were hobgoblins, so they're larger, nastier,
Lift your microphone up just a little bit.
bastardized versions
There you go.
of the stupid little goblins that are all around these parts.
Yeah.
They're smarter. They can organize better, but are often still used by minions or as minions by other smarter humans or humanoids.
Yeah.
And we all kind of made out that the guy said, like, oh, blah, 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 will be happy with...
Yeah, you can kind of hear that. Nobody heard it clear, but it's something to the effect of, yeah, we'll be happy with. And they're just to throw it out there, too, there's nothing odd about a hobgoblin speaking in a language you can understand.
Yeah.
Nobody had to understand their language. It was kind of a grunty, well, no, you're going to be happy with what we did tonight, kind of thing. You didn't catch the beginning or the end of the sentence.
Right,
You got enough that's the gist of it.
Well, it seems like like you said, they're working for someone. But I don't know. This is like small time, it seems. Just random jewelry out of people's houses, homes.
Yeah. Unless anyone knows of any special treasures in Valshand, they're stealing the best things in town, but it is the crappy town to be exercising theft in.
Yeah.
Right. Stealing grandma's locket is
Shall we try to
stealing
just
her
retrieve
locket.
all the items and get it back to town? And
Well, I guess I'd like to go in and see if the particular item that I'm looking for is in there. I don't really care about anything else because I'm not from town, so I don't really...
Yeah, I mean, unless
not missing anything else.
Yeah, unless we want to try to interrogate them, then we could
I think we should just grab all the stuff. I mean, that'll
see what
make the
happens.
town happy. I don't know if we want to get involved in what they're up to, but
Now, Trillium would know you definitely couldn't carry all that back.
Yeah.
It looks
We're
like
not
the
gonna be
amount that
able to-
the hobgoblins just brought in is 2 weeks worth of stuff, and
It's a horde in there.
can't
Yeah.
you just turn into like a elephant or something?
inside
Can't.
the cave.
Oh, that'd be good.
the famed forest elephants.
Yeah. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I have had issues with these hobgoblins on the edge of the forest, though, in
What
the
do you mean,
past.
issues.
Just, they come into my land every once in a while, and they try to set up shop. And I have to keep them away. That's the only history I have with hobgoblins, though. I don't have any personal connections to them. But they've never been this far into the forest.
If it's too much for us to carry, could we just direct the townsfolk back to the cave? Or is there some reason we need to protect this particular cave?
You do know most of the townsfolk wouldn't fare too well against these creatures.
Well, isn't there some type of
Yeah, there's a couple.
Guardsmen
There's a
in
local
town.
sheriff, but you
you
could
could
see the
deputize
sheriff.
some people, maybe? I
Yeah,
don't know.
he might deputize some people, but he doesn't have his own people to do that.
Right.
One of the people he's enlisted in the past is the ranger. So Bretton has helped them against a couple of goblins before, I'm sure.
Well, maybe we just try to see what we can carry tonight, and then
I mean,
see what the sheriff has planned.
Can we get the boulder out of the way? Are
We
they
can try
stronger
to.
than we would be?
We can try. We can always give it a shot.
Yeah,
Exactly.
'Cause I'm really interested if we're this close to me potentially finding what I'm looking for.
well,
I don't want to leave it.
Her not occult item.
I don't do this very often, but because Bretton is my friend, I will turn into a horse and carry these these goods. I will help carry these
That
goods.
could definitely make a difference, yeah.
We could just bring what we can carry on the horse, and then let them hire us to get the rest, or get more people to get the rest of it.
I like the profiteering
I
idea.
think exactly. I
Make
think we should
them
bring
hire
back
you
what we
to come
can
back,
and say
yeah.
for a fee we can
Yeah.
retrieve the rest of it. Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
It wouldn't be suspicious at all.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, right.
Yeah, all of a sudden we're under
Good start.
investigation
Yeah.
for extortion.
Yeah.
In fact,
Or we could just say, here's some stuff that we came across, and
We just leave a trail of goods on the way to town. But
do we have to roll to try to get the boulder out?
This will definitely be defying some danger with strength.
Strength.
Whoever is...
powering through.
oh, I actually got
so
some decent strength.
Let's do it this way. Who's the strongest?
I got a 13.
15.
Oh, jeez.
9.
It's a plus
Like-
one, though, right?
8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is, because Lenore has been vocal about wanting to get in there, we'll let you do most of the pushing and others will aid you.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. Can I just one thing?
You sure can.
Does anybody have rope?
Everybody that has adventuring gear has
We have
rope.
adventuring gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adventuring gear is generic, mundane items.
Yeah, if you want
that
to turn
just
into a
help.
horse, we can just strap it to you. You can pull it out.
I was going to say
Oh.
I could just
How convenient.
try to,
It could definitely
you know,
be
with a
something.
rope.
If we have enough holds for it.
Yeah.
that would be Yeah.
You pretty much always get one unless you just flat out fail.
okay. All right, so I'm going to turn into a horse,
A feathered horse.
a feathered horse.
Ooh, that'd be kind of neat.
Isn't that a Pegasus?
I
Feathers
have
in the
some
mane?
feathers in my mane, and I must say because I am pretty private. I stay in the forest. My animals are my family and friends. I don't often turn into a horse to benefit humans or man. But I'm only doing this because Bretton and I have a
You have
bond.
a thing. Yeah.
And he is the only one that is allowed to pack up whatever's on my back. I don't get ridden by anyone.
Except for Brett.
There's
Well,
Hello.
I love playing with married couples.
It's awesome.
this is getting weird.
That's great. That's fun.
Yes, by the way, Chris is my husband.
The secret's out.
Oh, no.
It wasn't a very good secret.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Not as good as a non-cult person. All right.
All right, so
So Brett will very respectfully. Well, I guess first we have to
See if she
roll
can
to
pull it
see if
off,
we get
yeah.
it off.
Yeah.
When, at first you said when you were a private person, I was thinking, are you going to go behind a tree to turn into a horse? I don't want anyone
No.
to see this.
no,
Okay.
but I do not often service any
People.
with my animal abilities.
It's only getting better the more you describe
I
it.
know, the words I'm using is just terrible.
I pretty much
Anybody
never
need that
service
service?
I don't
people with my
service you.
animal ability.
I only service animals, no humans.
Yeah. With my animal abilities. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Let's see what happens. Shapeshifter.
Good.
And what do I add to this
The
again?
wisdom.
Okay, so +2, so 4, 7,
Niner.
9.
9.
9. 7 to 9 is.
Deuce.
2. So,
Good enough.
So you have 2 holds. So the first thing you want to do is try and pull the boulder out of the way.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. With everyone's help, yes. You get the rope tied, people brace the boulder, and you're able to pull it, and that would use one of the 2 holds.
Okay.
Now you guys are able to get in there. It does involve crouching down to get into the entrance. And anybody who goes in, which would, I guess, be everyone except the horse, you'll get that nasty, rotting garbage, feces.
Is it dark?
It's dark, yeah.
So can I cast light?
You sure can.
Okay.
Go for it.
I'm going to just take a small rock I have in my pocket and just cast light on it, and it's going to glow like blue.
As soon as you cast it, it will.
It's a
You have to cast
Rope.
a spell still.
nuh-uh.
Uh-huh. Any
Nuh-uh.
spell is a spell.
Fine.
You roll to see what happens.
7, 9.
Okay. Now, on a 7 to 9 on cast a spell,
Oh.
you have to pick something. And this is an easy one, because this is one you could just forget.
Where does it say that?
When
Oh,
you cast a
that
spell,
one.
Yeah. So you could choose to forget it. You probably don't need
Oh,
light.
yeah, I'll
cast this
forget it.
time. Yeah, you probably don't want to take negatives forward to cast and draw unwanted attention to yourself at this time.
No,
Right.
I'll forget it.
Yeah, that's kind
So
of an easy
at
one.
least it's bright.
Yeah. So you have a glowing rock.
I have a glowing rock, so I
And
can
now
start
you can
looking
see
through
if-
the crates and
There's
stuff.
Think of the whole like Indiana Jones thing when they turn the light on in the treasure room. Everything starts to sparkle because there's even though there's nothing hugely expensive in here. There's
Gold
gems and
and-
gold and silver, and they're spilling out of bags and crates and stuff. So as soon as you light it up, it's just kind of sparkly disco ball effect. And as far as you can tell, everything that the town's been missing is probably sitting right here.
And I'm gonna start just digging through, looking through crates and piles,
Okay.
just trying to find my artifact.
Okay, and you find it in one of the wooden crates.
Oh, cool. That was easy.
What does it look like? Because at least two people are going to see you find it. Unless
It's
you're being secretive.
a large ceremonial dagger. It has a burnished gold handle and a very shiny, very sharp blade, and it has a Z carved into the handle of it, and it's got some gemstones set in there, different colors.
Cool. All right.
But I'm
So
pretty psyched that
You found it.
we found it. I got to bring it back to the place that doesn't exist.
It very much doesn't look like something a cult would use.
Yes.
It's totally not.
To the
Not at
people that you don't know in a place you don't know,
Yeah.
that for a cult that definitely does not exist.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Rangers don't judge.
So using adventuring gear and other things you have, you can find ways to strap as much as you can onto Trillium's back. When you're a horse, can you talk?
I just no.
No? I like
I'm
the
a horse.
idea. Yeah, okay.
We can kind of tell in your eyes, though, when it's too heavy. Like, we're like, okay, that's as much as she can handle.
I'm sure he knows. Bretton knows.
Bretton knows.
He knows the weight limit of that horse.
Oh God.
I don't know Kelly nearly well enough yet.
You must be this tall for this ride.
So now here's
Are
what
you
we...
okay with this?
I'm just sitting here.
I think he was probably expecting it.
Yeah, I totally was.
All right, good.
So we
Good.
what we'll do at this point is let you guys just take the stuff and head back to town because that's the intent here. Do you want to try and put the boulder back or do you care at this time?
No, I say leave it.
No? All right. You make your way back to town. It's slow going because it's a lot of stuff. Between you, you're carrying things. There's plenty strapped onto Trillium. And when you reach town, though, it's still dark. Let's call it 2 or 3 in the morning. And nobody's up. So how do you handle your return of the hall?
I'd like to go to the sheriff, you know.
Okay.
I'm assuming I'm known. He knows.
Constable,
He knows us.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him the sheriff because he had already.
Yeah.
So Sheriff Philip.
Phil?
Philip. the
McCracken?
sheriff. Nope, just Philip.
McCrevis?
Nope, just Philip. Actually, it's Philip Almaholes.
Mr. Almaholes.
Oh, jeez.
That's what it is now.
Sheriff Almaholes.
Hey, that's on me holes. Anyway, yeah.
Sheriff.
Can I put the gold back on the streetlight so that everyone will be surprised in the morning? When
Well,
it's
you
all
can put.
pretty?
It's actually the cage that held the lamps. So you can put the cages back up. Yes,
I'd like to do that.
go for it. You got that. So
Yes, I'll
the
explain to the
sheriff
sheriff.
sleeps in the back of the office. It's his home. In the
Yeah, that's kind of how I
sheriff's
do it at the
office in the
smithy.
front.
I have a little
Yeah,
apartment in
there
the
you
back.
So yeah, you can go in and knock and wake him up. And,
Yep. I'll
and,
explain that we found. We think it's probably all of the things stolen from the town in this cave, and we saw these things called hobgoblins. Wasn't aware of those, but that's what
I've
Bretton
heard of
had-
those
That's
before.
what Bretton has said they were.
So he
we
puts
couldn't.
a-
We couldn't return all the. We got most of the stuff,
Okay.
but we couldn't carry as much as we could carry. But we lost track of where the hobgoblins went, unless Bretton wants to try to figure out if they went off to a different path. But I don't know if you want to get more townspeople or if you can get anybody else to go to this cave. It's only about a mile outside of town.
Okay.
But I don't understand how these hobgoblins are just coming through town at night, though. And
Quietly, I think.
wow, but they're kind of big. They stink. They
They
reek.
stink.
Yeah.
They reek. So I don't know. I mean, if people have been saying that their houses are full of stench in the morning.
Nobody's reported that. It's just things missing.
Yeah. So.
All right.
But they mentioned something about someone would be happy about the haul they got tonight. I don't know what that means.
So it sounds like they're stealing for someone else.
Yes.
Or delivering it.
Delivering
to
it. I was going to say, maybe they're not even stealing. Maybe they're just
Yeah.
someone's getting it in town.
Hey, you get down off that lamppost.
I have good ears. I'm listening from a distance.
Well, he would go outside to check the stuff out. 'Cause he's going to bring it into his office and redistribute as he sees fit.
You're right.
Robin Hood.
A little taxation.
Well, he is not
The sheriff's in on it the whole time.
Yeah. He's not the sheriff of, what was it, Knoblocker?
No, but Dr.
Nottingham. Yeah. Yeah, so it's very appreciative. I have no rewards. Nobody's offered rewards or anything, so I can't pay you for that. But
I wasn't looking for it.
But maybe we can find a way to honor you in town somehow. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, okay.
So
I always like to be honored.
well, of course, Your Honor.
Unless you want to, I don't know, somebody mentioned something about being hired on for something?
Well, you were talking about finding people to go back and check the place out.
Well, find out what these
I don't really
hobgoblins
have
are up
any
to.
deputies, but do you know of anybody who's willing to go do that? I mean, somebody who may have been there before, perhaps?
I mean, I guess we can volunteer ourselves, but I don't know if everybody else is up for it.
I'm up for it.
Nay.
As soon as the stuff's unloaded, you could turn back to a human. Unless you're enjoying
Maybe
this.
we could get a horse and a cart so that we could have one more party member.
A real horse.
Not
Yeah.
a real horse.
Yeah.
She's a real horse.
No,
I get it. But
do not service
You
people.
So, well, maybe
well, there's
in the
two
morning-
things. There's the get the rest of the stash,
Yeah.
and then there's do we decide to deal with these hobgoblins and find out who they're working for?
Well, it's still the sheriff. He said, I still need to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Because whether they were the ones stealing it or not, they still haven't been caught.
And I can say we can give them there's about this time, or I don't know
Yeah.
how we can do time here, but so that gives them an idea of when things might have been stolen from the town. And it takes about this much time to get out to the cave, so we can try to figure out.
Okay. Well, we could try and set up a watch outside the town if you guys are interested in doing that.
Am I back in
Maybe
my
tomorrow. You told
Yeah.
me.
druid form?
Yeah, if
You wanna be?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then yes.
Okay. So I have set out I have packs of wolves in my forest,
Oh.
and I have set out a perimeter that they have been watching, and I can check back with them if they've found anything or have noticed any activity,
Okay.
so I can
Can do
contribute
that.
to that,
Sounds good.
to the watch.
And what about you guys helping the town out in an official capacity? If you want to,
Well, for
sounds
me,
like you have an idea of something that's going on. Maybe you could start to keep a watch out. Maybe tonight or tomorrow night.
I'd have to get some type of,
Recompense.
yeah, because, Prometheus is going to be upset with me if I'm not working, I'm not going to get paid, It's one of those things.
Well, from the way things have been going and what you described, it sounds like we'd only need you at night.
That's
As
true.
long as you can go to sleep or go to work on little sleep. And,
Yeah, well,
and
I would need something for my,
It's still time away from
Yes.
smoking halfling leaf
and
at
eating
the-
my pork.
Yeah. Well, there's no
Spastic
reason you
piglet.
can't do that while you're on watch. There are no rules here.
This is pretty lax.
Yeah.
maybe that's why stuff got stolen.
Yeah. We just don't have anybody to do it.
Yeah.
Here's a bottle of meat and some halfling leaf. Go on watch.
Actually, even get me some meats.
Meats. Well, when people wake up in the morning, perhaps we can try and organize something. But for now, everyone's sleeping.
There.
And he'll, like I say, he'll want to take all the recovered items into his office so that he can lock them up. He'll probably lock them up in the one jail cell he has.
That's never nobody's
Yeah,
ever in there.
exactly.
Town drunk, maybe.
Or at the town ranger. How often are you held overnight at the sheriff's office there?
I mean, I'm a very pleasant drunk.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I get a
you're
little
there for the-
cheery from time to time.
Yeah, get there for the entertainment
Let's be
value.
sleep it off.
Cool. So let's say you get in some rest, wake up the next morning. What's the plan?
Well,
How
for
do
me,
you
it's
want to
going to
approach this
the forge in the morning.
Yep. Get your daily work done.
Would I have been able to get my spell back that I had to forget?
Oh yeah, we'll go
Okay.
through the whole. You had rest. Nobody lost hit points, so that doesn't matter. You would do your commune move to get your spells back.
Okay.
However, you go about praying and or communing, and is that a public display or a private display?
Private.
Okay, so no one
And
else
y'all
would see that.
would notice a fresh
A new cut.
cut on my arm.
Okay.
That girl crazy.
That girl crazy, but it's not a cult.
It was not a
It's
cut.
definitely not cool.
So what's the plan for the next day? How do you want to approach the situation
Well, I'd like
based on what you know?
I'd like to get my artifact back to my order, not cult, as quickly as I can.
Okay. They're just
So
one of the houses down the street. It just looks like a house.
Nondescript house.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's not a business. It's not
Nope.
anything special. It's
Nope.
just another one of the houses.
One of those churches in the strip mall. You know.
It's not even a church.
No. No.
If it was a church, it could be a cult.
So I'll bring it
Okay.
back to the house.
Okay. They're very appreciative, and you get an extra silver star in the book of Zorika.
So you should probably check with your wolves and see if they come up
Yep.
with anything
The
over
what?
the night.
The
wolf
wolves.
pack. The
So
wolf
I
pack.
checked with my wolf pack, and they have noticed that there was a small group of the hobgoblins, most likely the ones that we saw that night, coming out of the cave, or in and then out of the cave. They saw this small group leaving the forest, not very far away from this cave. That's all I got.
What direction were they going?
Like away from town.
Yes, they were going away from town.
North
But
or
not
south?
into the forest.
North or south?
Pick north or south.
They were going north.
That will matter. Okay.
They were going
It
north.
matters to me. so.
Okay. This here is a southern town. They were going north.
Uh-huh. So they were.
So maybe during the day, you two could retrieve more items.
Yeah, but I'm kind of like you. I don't want to just go be a workhorse for free. I feel like people should pay a
I
little
don't want to be
commission or a finder's
literally
fee.
a workhorse
Literally.
for free.
Right, right. Little,
Now-
for the finder's fee or a little commission, I'm happy to help any local family go. But I'm not a beast of burden, like some people I know.
Never be a beast of burden.
Like me.
So the sheriff is able to distribute a lot of the items during the day. There are the ones that are missing still. The families and people who are missing these items are concerned and would like to see those items back. And perhaps they would be willing to pay something, whether it just be trade or service or money. They might be able to pay something.
Just enough to make me feel loved. That's
How
all I'm
much is
looking
that? How much buys your love?
for. Not very much. It doesn't take a lot.
So Bretton has a low threshold for love buying.
I just want these guys out of my forest. And I don't have much use for money. But I do have halfling pipeweed, so I'd be willing to share if anyone wants to come rid these out of my forest.
Yeah, I would think actually Trillium would be the most interested here because I would think this is kind of an unnatural threat, or even just unnatural. I mean, hobgoblins are evil, right?
They're generally malicious,
Yeah,
not necessarily evil.
she probably doesn't want them traipsing through her forest.
I do not.
on a regular basis.
Stinking up the joint.
I'd be willing to come along since you all helped me get my artifact back. I'm very grateful.
Did you get promoted?
No, but I didn't get demoted, so that's good.
That's a good point.
I got a new cut.
Just not
Look at
getting
this,
fired is
guys.
a good thing.
This time they carved it in the shape of a Z.
Special.
It's special.
It is. Did they use the dagger you returned?
Yes.
That's
It's
even
like
more
super
special.
important.
Yeah,
Like that's the ceremonial dagger.
it's cool. The
So you say ceremonial. What do you mean by that?
So should we be tracking
I mean, it's like
hobgoblins?
a
Is that
birthday.
should we consider tracking trying to follow these guys from the cave, or are we just gonna sit around and wait and see if more stuff gets stolen?
I guess like if the sheriff really wants, I mean, I know you want him out of this forest. Me, it doesn't matter.
So
The
let me
sheriff
tell
might be
you-
like, hey, I'd like to find out exactly what, why these guys stealing stuff. Maybe who's
So the interest of the sheriff to start, because he has a small group to work with, especially if you guys come on. Well, he has more people to work with.
Right.
But the importance for him is to stop it from happening.
Yeah.
He'll care about the why later. If he can get it to stop, great. But he has been unable to stop them so far, not knowing when they're going to show up. You guys have gotten a little bit more information, so they could possibly be tracked. But from the sheriff's perspective, what he would be paying you guys to do, or helping to pay you guys to do, would be to stop the hobgoblins, if it's them, from coming back into the town at night. So he'd be, like he said, if we could set up a watch outside the town or something, some way to avoid this happening again, is what he's interested in.
Yeah. And I would be-
and of course, returning the stolen goods.
I'd be interested in that as well, because I'm not entirely convinced that the hobgoblins are the ones actually stealing this stuff. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but they may just be pack mules for someone else who's doing this. So
They very well could be.
There is a sacred plant that grows in a certain spot in my forest that I have found that the hobgoblins do not like. We could possibly plant some of this plant along the edges of the town to keep them away.
So hobgoblin deterrent. That's a possibility.
That's what I have to offer. Thank you very much.
You don't smoke this plant.
You do not.
No, it's a
But
different.
it could be
plant.
some type of smell that they can't stand.
Cleanliness.
Gives them hives.
It's Febreze.
it's like garlic for vampires, but for hobgoblins.
Yeah, Febreze for hobgoblin. Well, let's find out what our plans are as we pick up the next episode. For now, we'll wrap this one up, and we can all say bye.
Bye-bye.
At even edge.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by One Joe Young. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.